The registration link is up. Just visit www.tier1trading.com and you can register for our upcoming 1 week free online trading workshop. It starts November 14th. It is free. It is online, so you can come as you please. You don't have to dress up or anything like that, but please put clothes on so it's not weird. But anyway, www.tier1trading.com. Register now, November 14th. I'll see you there. So when I first started off, I struggled for a very long time in trading, mainly because I didn't have any confidence. I set off to be a consistently profitable trader, but I didn't really believe in what I was doing because everyone else told me that I couldn't. And honestly, I was kind of embarrassed. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a trader who is going through the same thing, and we're going to talk about what he needs to do to fix that thing and get on the right path to become a consistently profitable trader. And I think a lot of you guys are dealing with the same issue as well. So listen up and take notes. I got an interesting question, speaking of pound yen, yesterday from one of our clients. And he said, "Hey, Akil, loved the session yesterday. Didn't even see the pound yen ascending triangle. One of my favorite patterns, blah, 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 blah. I like it." And then he went on to give me a little bit of a rant about how his trading journey was going. And I love it. I love being, there's not a lot of people we can talk to about trading, as you guys can agree. So I kind of like being the the pillow that people can scream into sometimes. I get it. I've been there. But the trader mentioned something interesting. So he's been dealing with back testing. He's been talking to myself, talking to Charles, and the tedious nature of it. And he mentioned that he needs to do an accountability session, but he is afraid to do an accountability session because of judgment, or how he thinks he'll be judged. He thinks he'll be embarrassing. And I ask you guys in here, right? How many of you guys have done or seen an accountability session? Right? Has there ever been a time where someone laughs at you and says, "Oh, that guy's an idiot," or "she's horrible," or "she's stupid," right? No. Now, I don't know the past of this trader. Typically, when there are present fears, they come from past experiences. And we know that trading forums aren't the best place out there. You guys know my story about first time. I was in a trading forum for a long time, like a fly on the wall. I never said anything. I just sat and watched. And one time I finally had the guts to share an idea, and I shared it. I was all excited. And then as soon as I shared it, someone kind of knocked it down right away. They were like, "Ha ha ha ha, why would you think that?" And like all my confidence was shot. I ended up taking off the trade, and then it ended up doing what I thought it would do. But again, I was spineless and whatever. So there are those experiences out there. But again, we had a conversation yesterday about real traders and how real traders think and real traders operate. And any real trader, right? I'm not talking about your people out there that are lying or people that are gambling. Any real trader understands how hard this is. Any real trader understands how hard this is. It is simple, right? You find a strategy with an edge. You execute that edge consistently with risk management protocols. Not easy by any means. It's extremely hard. And I've never seen a real trader make fun of another real trader. When I say real trader, doesn't have anything to do with you being profitable, but someone who is serious about becoming good at the craft, someone who is serious about getting better. I've never seen it. And I've been doing this for 16 years. I've never seen it. I've seen fake traders do it. I've never seen a real trader. And hopefully this trader is listening to this recording, seeing how he listens to the recordings. And I want to say this. You need to get in there. The same conversation I had with another client who was complaining about kind of not seeing the success he wanted, even though we later found out that he hasn't actually gone through the courses yet. You need to get in that accountability session. You need that one-on-one time. You need that chance to vent. You need that chance to explain. You need that chance to have one-on-one time with a professional trader and have him critique you. You need to get those questions answered. And my question for you is, are you going to let embarrassment stop you? This is no different than the overweight person or the super skinny person that has a goal, a New Year's resolution to get into the gym and lose weight or put on muscle, right? The thing is this. If your goal is to lose weight or put on muscle, and part of that goal is going to the gym and getting involved in a consistent exercise and lifting routine, if you're too embarrassed to go to the gym because of how you look, are you ever going to complete that goal? Think about it. Think about it. If your goal requires that you take this action, right? Goals, tactics, we work backwards, right? If your goal requires that you take these actions and you're too embarrassed to take the actions, will you ever achieve your goal? No. And Bobby said I was nervous, or I think most of us were nervous during our first accountability sessions, but I'm so glad afterwards. Yeah, and we're going to be nervous, right? We're going to be nervous. Anything in life, when you're going to a new school, when you're joining a new club, when you're part of a new team, you're going to the gym for the first time and you walk in there and you're afraid to be in your tank top because people are going to look at your arms and judge you. And then you realize this. No one cares. No one cares. Why? Because everyone at the gym, well, maybe not everyone. I worked at a gym for a very long time. There are some posers there. There's a group of ladies that are strictly to find husbands. Trust me, I know. They told me. We had a really good relationship. I worked at the front desk and they told me their goals. They said, Akil, I'm going to get right up this front treadmill and I'm going to pick me a man. So there are people like that. But for the most part, I'm going to find me a man, honey. I'm like, okay, you go ahead. Go ahead, Jessica. Go ahead. Go ahead, girl. Right? But for the most part, everyone's there for the same reason. They want to make some type of improvement. And if anything, they're going to applaud you for the effort. I did the same thing when I ran my marathons, right? I'm not a marathon runner. But you go to a marathon, you see people of all shapes and sizes. And no one's like, ha ha ha, that person finished last. The thing is, congratulations, you finished. You finished. And you finished something that most other people will never even start. So you've got to put that embarrassment to the side. No one's going to judge you. Nobody cares. And especially for the tier 1 trading environment. Again, I can't speak for other environments out there. Everyone here is so helpful. We had a meeting the other day and we were kind of shocked because typically whenever we implement new things, we always ask ourselves, how is it going to affect the community? How's it going to affect the community? We don't want to put a cancer into the culture. And we're thinking, we really haven't had anyone that we had to kick out. We haven't really had it, and the community polices itself. But there's been no kind of bad apples. There's every once in a while, there's someone that's like, hey guys, I'm going to make money really, really quick. And then they get schooled and they find out this is not the place for them. But there haven't really been any bad apples, or at least that is. Daryl says 1 in 2018. Here we go. We might be talking about the same person. But the point is, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your community. You have to look at your goals. You have to look at what it's going to take to achieve your goals. And you have to be shameless about doing it. Because 5 years, 10 years, you're going to look back and none of that stuff is going to matter. Or like Bobby said, you're going to be so glad you did it. Because that was the spark. That was the spark that lit the fuse for the rest of your trading career. So I hope you're listening. I'm going to respond to your email anyway and tell you to listen once we're done here in the live room. For the live room for today. But yeah, you got to do it. And that goes for anyone else out there as well. I know I'm talking to clients right now, but anyone else out there as well, you got to be shameless, man. If you got a goal, who cares? I can't tell you how many people laughed at me when I told them I wanted to be a professional trader. Everyone. My dad. Even my dad. I mean, he lied and said that he was supportive, which is what dads are supposed to do, but he didn't believe me. No one believed me. I think my wife was the only one. My wife and my best friend. My best friend doesn't count because he's the one that got me into trading, so we were on the same page. But everyone laughed. And it reflected in my trading because I had no confidence in myself. I was afraid to tell people what I did. People would ask, hey, what are you doing now that you're out of college? I'm trading. I had no confidence in myself. I had no confidence. I was embarrassed of what I was doing, and I had no confidence in the market. And it wasn't until I read a Tony Robbins book and got all self-empowered and stuff like that. Started those affirmations and yelling at myself in the mirror, right? The crazy stuff that actually worked. It wasn't until then that I started having confidence, and I told myself, hey, I was no longer going to be shameless about what I was doing. I was going to take pride. I was going to embrace what I was doing or what I was trying to do. I was going to embrace who I am. I was going to embrace what part of the journey I was on. I wasn't afraid to be like, hey guys, I'm new and I suck, but I'm going to get better. I wasn't afraid to do that anymore. I wasn't no longer trying to live up to anyone else's standards. I was who I was. I was where I was at on my journey, and I knew that I was progressing on my journey, and there was no shame in being at the struggle part, because everyone goes through the struggle part in every part of their journey. Then those are the most valuable parts because you learn so many lessons. And I embraced it. I had confidence, and it's going to sound crazy, but I saw a direct relation to my trading. I was more confident in my analysis. I was no longer, is that a double top? That's a double top. Fibonacci. RSI is overbought, right? I was confident in what I was doing. And before you know it, my trading results started turning around. So confidence is key in everything. Don't be afraid of the embarrassment. If you got people that are going to make fun of you, they're not the right people for you. All right. Real quick, Dwayne says, I saw some of the accountability sessions. It was comforting to see a variety of traders from different backgrounds of all ages with different strategies, but the same love and interest for trading. Yeah, the accountability sessions are amazing. I think it's so cool to hear different stories from different people. I watch all of them. It always takes me back to my journey and where I was at. And there's so many lessons that can be learned from them too, because especially when you guys are on the journey, the path to becoming a consistently profitable trader, you're typically making the same mistakes, maybe in different ways. So it's really cool to hear tips because you're like, hey, I'm doing that too. Like maybe I should. So I think it's amazing. All right, trade of the day. Let's hit in here. Real quick. How long did it take you to become a sustainable, profitable trader? 2 years, probably 3, or I should say 3 years, probably 2. I always say 3 years because I didn't until I had a year of profitability. Well, in my mind, I still don't see myself as a consistently profitable trader because for me, it's always like on a year-to-year basis. That's just kind of a trick I tell myself to motivate myself and not stay lazy. But what I wanted to see at the time is I wanted to see, in order to kind of call myself a consistently profitable trader, I needed to have my first fully profitable year. So I would say 2 years, because that third year ended up being my profitable year, but I didn't technically count it until the year ended, if that makes sense. So 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. So it was about a year and a half trying on my own, and then about a year and a half after I actually got educated to become consistently profitable. So seemed like forever at the time. You look back, again, I've been doing this for 16 years. You look back, it's a very small blip, and I plan on doing this for much longer. You know, when I look back in 40 years from now, it's going to be like, huh, man. So I was consistently profitable for like 50 something years and struggled for 3 years. Ha ha! Just laugh at it, right? Because it's ridiculous. But at the time, it seemed like it's forever. Good question. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, I advise all of you to hop in one of these accountability sessions. We have them every Friday on the platform. Whether hop in and get interviewed yourself or hop in and just be a fly on the wall and listen. But they are so powerful because you get to hear and see people that are in the same situation as you and hear them get one-on-one counseling on how to progress in their journey. So join us on Friday for our accountability sessions. Just go over to www.tier1trading.com. You can do it with your trial membership. Hop in, take some notes, and better yourself as a trader.